Hey everybody, it's Chad Warren at ChadWarren76 at Twitter and ChadWarren.me online. It's Wednesday, December 4th, 2019. Gonna try the Google slideshow. Think this is gonna work better. I still talking about flea markets, Hermeticism, Sabbateans, Pallet, Coffeetable, riding my bicycle to the library to study and recharge the batteries and phone, applying for jobs, making Christmas gifts, storing rainwater, losing friends over controversy, truthers need community, life after Flash, 80s music, off-grid living, and Telegram. I forgot to make a slide for Telegram. That's okay. All right, so try this. Oh no, don't move the slide. Let's undo that. That's a pain in the butt. There we go. All right, so yeah, I was thinking a flea market would be good for two reasons. One, to make money selling stuff. A friend was sharing a video about people that find stuff in the trash they sell. And I was driving the other day and saw one of those big dog carriers. I mean, that's probably worth something. Number two, it's a place as truthers that we could rally around creating community and podcast from there, and be a place where we could do some kind of a business buying and trading media or fixing computers, whatever, historic books and book we're connected to researching. I think that's going to be a big trend is you're not going to be able to get all this stuff that we can get online today. So we need to have digital copies locally and hard copies locally. And then these are, that's frustrating. Like, is this, okay, that works. So I hit the click and that's not going to edit it. Alright, so these are some of the ones close to me. This is pretty cool actually. I just need to speed up the time at which I do this, but it worked pretty fast of going to a web page, taking a snapshot, and then using that in the content. And later you'll see that helped me to not have to make a title with text and then pictures, because if you just go to the search and screenshot that, you've already got the title and results. Country Club Flea Market. I think I've been to that one. I remember it being kind of pricey, but real nice in there. Treasure Island. I think that's over in Sherwood by the Vortex Arcade. It's been a while since I've been there. Hidden Treasures. What about that one? Keel Avenue Flea Market. That must be another one because that's Keel Avenue in Sherwood where the Vortex Arcade is. Okay. A uh that's lame. I just always have to hit the check mark. Okay. So now we're talking about Hermeticism right there. An acquaintance from Facebook that started chatting with me yesterday off grid evidently. This person has been away from society for 8 years, living off grid for four or some. I don't know exactly if that's right, but um, they used to do tree arborist work, and so that's something we were surprised that we have in common. I live here in this camper with no water or electricity. Instead of Chris Farley in a van down by the river, I'm in a camper under a tree. And this person was saying they live out west, but they were mentioning being here in the past and going to rainbow gatherings, or not connecting with either the rainbow people here. They're pretty obviously new age, to be into this stuff, which I'm into this stuff too to a certain degree. Uh, and they didn't like, I guess rednecks, backcountry, racist, those kind of things. They had issues with people here in Arkansas, but of course they're like me, pretty hyper individualistic and not really liking the, uh, you know, don't want to do the when in Rome, be like the Romans type of thing. Okay, so the real question is, you know, how do you really apply this stuff to your life? I mean, it's generally this stuff being esoteric, occult, magic, Kabbalism. I mean, all kinds of words coalesce over this. Sacred geometry, alchemy, observational science. And then it's kind of like how when you develop the classical liberal arts of grammar, logic, and rhetoric, those are your beginning philosophy skills for how to think, to be able to receive a concept, examine it without integrating it into yourself and it taking over your identity, which we're all in various cults, America, this, that, or the other. Those are all cults which make culture. Most of us are unaware of that process. I'm in the group of the people that's trying to de-occult, to figure out, what is mind control and what is acceptable culture, and how do we create culture. And then it also helps you to not be prejudiced. Speak of the devil. Um, so, yeah, critical thinking skills. But I mean, obviously, you can get lost in all this information. There's just too much information in general. So even if you're not into Hermeticism, I think a big obvious thing that we forget is that we live in this post-internet world where we're dealing with all this information. So, you got, I always say Elon Musk supposedly is coming out with this neural link within less than a year to hook your mind up to the computers if we weren't addicted to the internet enough. I mean, obviously that's going to be a tremendous change. It's, you know, then it'll be like, well, we got to do it because they're smarter and they do. But I would like to have a workable spiritual life consciousness in Mother Nature when I eat and give thanks for, oh, I'm thankful for my camper, I'm thankful for my heater, I'm thankful for my truck, I'm thankful for the time of visiting my son. Just that's kind of a lot of what I'm trying to do here with this channel, because you have like these alternative media creators where they're talking about stuff but they're not doing anything, and I'm on the flip side of like, well, how do we turn this into a real lifestyle? And so for example, just taking notes of that conversation I had with that person in text. Obviously it's going to look like a bunch of gobbledygook, but I mean, that's the reality if it shows how much we actually integrate this stuff as individuals or as a community. So some of the key words in that discussion were polarity, you know, uh, male, female, life, death, opposites. And then the base 12 number system, you got 12 months of the year, 12 disciples. What's that about versus the base 10 decimal system? Pyramid ascension cult. So, the person was describing that you walk in at the underground shaft of the pyramid, and the interesting thing about this topic it's like you really can't. Everybody's in and out of everything. So if we all have grades in school. So you can't say, "Oh, I'm not in a Luciferian cult." Well, I mean, the whole concept of grades is part of an ascension cult. If you believe in Jesus Christ, that's an ascension cult, right? So that's what's wrong when we have connotations on the word cult and you think of Manson and stuff. I mean, a lot of that goes on in Christian schools, you know. Segregation. Tastes great. Less filling. Let's argue. Packers versus the Washington Redskins or whatever. How easy that is to divide us all here within the truth community. People arguing, it's like if oh my God, if you have a difference of opinion, and then that could happen to me. I got tired of these. I'm really focusing on like being annoyed at the Trump Christian people because they're supposed to be the good people, but so much of what they do is controlled opposition. The whole identity of America. You got to decouple these generic natural concepts like freedom of speech. I mean, is America really the first to do that? You know what I mean? No. Is the Bible, is that really original to the Jews and the Christians? No. The flood story is in the Epic of Gilgamesh, and just on and on and on. But here I am. We all through the internet are assimilating other people's work. So those are the kind of controversies that you have. Um, Freeman Fly was talking about David Icke stealing his material, which is one of his first videos he did about the Freemasonic symbols in corporate logos. And then David Icke went with that and called it Illuminati symbol, corporate logos or something. So, who owns that idea? That's this whole. You see what I'm saying? How that's why everything's so easy to manipulate, because you could argue that you could own things. You can argue that nobody owns things. And then if you tell what's right or wrong, and then it can also be somebody's being deceptive and taking advantage of the gray area, being a provocateur, a saboteur, a subversive infiltration of different groups for a goal, that type of thing. Mentalism, Kabbalism, and all that. And all this is saying that the way we experience life is through a non-material concept. We feel these feelings, and you have this resistance. There's rules to it, but there's no way to tell the difference between, is this all happening in a dream or a computer simulation, or is there any matter? Does matter matter? Free will. Do you have any free will? If these forces are all doing what they're doing according to these laws within nature, then where does the free will actually occur? It's 12 o'clock. The tornado sirens have gone off. Uh, let's see. Is the glass, the person said in the text, is the glass half full? Is it half empty? Or are you thankful you can put beer in it? I never heard that one. I like that one. Okay, moving on. Sabbateans. Eric, who goes by the YouTube channel Jewish Power and Privilege 9, he's an acquaintance. He has shared a video that he made that I will share the link to in the description. The In the video, he's again saying this person, David Icke is, who I do think Alex Jones and David Icke are controlled opposition. Um, but he was focusing in his new book, Triggered, about the Sabbateans. So, who are the Sabbateans? It is right here. The Sabbateans were a variety of followers of disciples and believers in Sabbatai Zevi, a Jewish rabbi who proclaimed to be the Jewish Messiah in 1666 by Nathan of Gaza. Vast numbers of Jews in the Jewish diaspora accepted his claims even after he became a Jewish apostate. With his conversion to Islam in the same year, Sabbatai Zevi's followers, both during his messiahship and after his conversion to Islam, are known as Sabbateans. They can be grouped into three: Mamonim, Haberim, and Baal Milhama, according to Wikipedia. And then Jacob Rothschild would be the modern version of this, Zionist. Like, he is heavily, Israel is like largely his plan, and then say Hitler is Rothschild because his mother was a maid in the Rothschild family. And all of these world leaders are interconnected, and it's about bloodlines, so it's not about race. They have people infiltrated in all the different races. The Ming Dynasty of China is, there's, and then it's the whole thing about, the Jerusalem Post, I think it was, I don't know who it was, a state or a nation, I don't know. Of Israel by the Jewish people and the movement of the Palestinians that live there. That's anti-Semitic, which is all a problematic term, right? The thing is the media tells you what to think, not how to think. They don't get they say anti-Semitic, and then you programmed, oh, that means hate Jews. Well, Semitic is a group of languages, and then it's like, within Christianity, there's all different sects that don't agree. Within your house, there's all these people that don't agree. So the whole idea of using these blanket terms of America, Jewish, Christian, white, male, female, whatever, it's not. It's a game. It's a game. But these Sabbateans think that they are interdimensional aliens sent from another planet. That's where I was disagreeing with what Eric was saying, if I remember correctly. He was commenting on this Alex Jones interview with David Icke. And there you go again. That's proof he's controlled opposition, Alex Jones, because he is on YouTube. You know what I mean? And yeah, I was censored, and all kinds of us have been censored, especially on this alt-right, not that I associated ever with that, but I did back in the day think Alex Jones was legitimate. But we're not censored now, and we'll see how serious this COPPA child protection supposed legal movement within the YouTube environment, how much that will change things, and I hope that it does. And I was looking at so I need to figure out the name of that to share it with you. And then I'm also trying to use Telegram, which is one of these messaging apps. And I know in the past myself I resisted because it's usually like somebody trying to sell Bitcoin from, they're like from the third world or Europe or whoever knows, and they're like, oh, talk to me on WhatsApp, and I'm like, I don't want to, you know what I mean? But I did get this person last night to go over there, and I'll put a link. There's a video, and it shares. So, WhatsApp is owned by Facebook. Facebook has had issues with your information, your privacy being breached. So it's more secure. You can chat privately. You can share like long videos. So I'm going to look at that. Like, can you share movies or something like that? and a place to organize as a forum, most importantly, because that's what I'm focused on in general. Is not just all this information, but how do we make a community out of this? So again, your comments and your thoughts in terms of what do we do with this truth movement thing? Because I'm hearing Freeman Fly in a recent episode. I forget her name, but it's something about sovereignty. There's a woman. It's like you scroll down. There's probably past the first page of recent archived shows, and but especially in the members hour, which is only $8 a month. But he vents about doing this job, and he said he's finally bought a house, but then he's stuck there, like he doesn't ever have to leave, and it takes, look how much time it takes just to make this presentation that I made here. I didn't even track the hours that I've spent on it this morning, but and then he was saying, like I was saying, you go to a coffee shop, well, you're not going to talk to anybody there. I haven't. I went to a coffee shop the other day, and I've never city coffee, but then it's like, golly, you certainly couldn't talk about anything with any of those people. You know what I mean? So again, it's all about community, what kind of suggestions that you have, and Sabbateans and the whole. Eric's point is that there is no difference between this like bad group within Judaism and then the idea of Judaism itself. And that's what's problem with all these things, is that both points of view are valid, a lot of times, in the sense that there's another, specifically a audio that I shared yesterday, that was shared with me by Byron on Facebook in regards to my post about Yahweh being Saturn, that this theologian studied, you're told what to think about the Bible. So what's the point in reading it? Because you're not allowed to have your own interpretation, and it's not your own interpretation based on your opinion. It's based on, this is what the words mean, and most people don't know that. And he makes this whole point. This doctor, I can't remember his name. Maybe it's too hard to pull all this stuff up. But the point is that the whole concept of Judaism is bad because it's a lie. They copied all this stuff from some earlier thing. But that doesn't mean that all people that are Jewish are like involved in this scheme to take over. And who isn't affected by all this? I mean, certainly Christians are, and Muslims, and then if you're atheist and a humanist, that's the thing, is these people like Barbara Specter that are Zionists, they openly say, like, we're controlling the races towards the skull, we're managing humanity. They are that. And obviously, look at the control of the Hollywood media and money investing, and you know what I mean? So these are these kind of questions that we have to deal with. So none of this is ever some hate for these other people. It wouldn't even matter if they are totally raping kids and taking over the world. You still have to deal with that. That's what's going on. You know what I mean? And that doesn't mean I hate somebody just because I'm defending against it. So that's kind of the topic around that. And this is the kind of stuff of why this friend of mine, said, hey, I'm moving out on my own, and we're working on these similar off-grid living entrepreneurial projects, and that person wants to make all this money fast, and I want to make money and do things too. But it's like, where do you draw that line between, if you're already saying I want to get out of this materialist consumer fake reality, everybody's going to have these different degrees. How can you get along as friends? This person was like, I'm uncomfortable with what you're saying on Facebook. And it's like, well, I understand that other people can feel that way. We all have our different choices. But I'm talking about this stuff because all truth is inconvenient. And you can't just hide and act like this is not going all in a known direction. Eliminate, like, I don't even think in terms of race unless other people bring it up. Democrats totally focus on race all the time. I had the first negative experience with black people that I can ever remember. I've talked about it a number of times. It was earlier this year with a temporary job. I was at this army base, putting up these targets, and then I was given a higher paying a foreman position because I can speak and have had these experiences and running a yard business, doing minor maintenance at for a landlord. And so these thuggish black guys just all the time talking about screwing women and these hoes and just full of stupidity and then whatever. But I don't, I just didn't like their behavior. But I didn't, say anything about it. I didn't do anything but try to be friends with them and whatever. And after lunch when the boss left, they were like, "Okay, now this is how it's going to be." They were trying to gang up on me, and I'm like, "No, we're not going to have any of that. It's not going to happen." And then they were just constantly going after me. "Oh, you got a pocket knife. You a psycho." And I'm like, well, the boss has sure been borrowing it a whole bunch of time. I guess he needs a psycho, you know what I mean? And then, oh, I'm going to, they want to lollygag. All these terrible stereotypes, you know what I mean? I don't want to be involved in that, but I'm not going to act like it's not happening either, you know what I mean? And, and then the final straw, when I came to work one day and I'm getting out of the truck, they're like, "Hey, Mr. Trump." And I'm like, I couldn't handle it because I hate Trump. You know what I mean? It's all the Zionist, Sabbatean crap. So that's what I'm talking about. Uh, there's no, just it is uncomfortable. Because the other people are playing this game to take over the world through this specific thing of like tricking these Trump people, like, "Oh, I guess it is a good idea to have the computers decide who's mentally fit to own a firearm." But, I'm like, "Don't you hear about your Second Amendment?" No, I'm not going to let stupid people. It is a fight. This is unavoidable. Sorry. It's uncomfortable. All right, something a lot cooler. Working on some Pallet coffee tables. Here's some ideas on the left. Here's the materials that I have in the middle. I bought some tools at Lowe's and I ordered some legs on Amazon. Yeah. Oh, I gotta get these notifications to stop popping up during the video. Oh, that person, that is not him in the video. Oh, okay. On That's not Eric. Jewish Power and Privilege 9 in the video they show. I thought it was. I'm confused. So here is the bicycle trip that I need to make to the library. What are you going to do, right? I don't know. See, that's what I'm trying to show. This is like real life. It's not all polished and whatever. So yeah, I need to. I mean, I have like tires. God bless America. How do I gotta stop that. All right, and there's more. Oh, okay, here's the jobs I applied to: an entry level IT job. Here's my resume. There was the construction foreman job, the people ready, cashiered, and worked in flexible fulfillment at Target. Apple Care at home advisor through Kelly Services. Helped with the merchandiser at Pavestone with the paving stones, setting them up at Home Depots and Walmarts and displays in the front like benches and fire pits and a fireplace, as well as work with the department head and the outdoor uh, garden center. and regarding their product and the order and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm looking for a job. Help me out with that. And I doing Instacart, but I'm just on a wait list. I'm not going to drive all the way up to Cabot to sit there and hope to get work and spend all this money going there. That it's just not working out like that. All right. Yep. Did do some video production through Full Sail School for the Recording Arts, and I worked with Reed Means of Palm Tree Shoe Productions on his Wrenchocracy independent film as a production assistant. Okay, and then making Christmas gifts. Yay! Oh, we got to zoom out there. Oh yeah, like I sent, how my mom sent me one of those digital cards on the Facebook, a little animated thing like that. Card like this, and I sent it back to her. That's something I'm interested in, is antique cards. And then I'm making this stuff for gifts. I got the soap, got the coaster I made there with the house on it, and then got the bath bombs. Both of these, the bath bombs and the soap, that's $15 at Walmart. So that's an interesting, pro, something you can make and sell itself is the components to that stuff. And then I got the off-grid living stuff. This person that was talking about Hermeticism would like to learn more about his situation. I'd like to start interviewing people if anybody wants to be interviewed. And like I say, my point is more to connect these lower level audience members of these ideas of alternative living, so that we start focusing more on each other and having a real community. So it's a whole different scope. But I just simply did my first attempt at catching rainwater. I've got tarps outside and that cover over the camper, and just catching water and pouring it into these spring water bottles that I use to drink water out of. The CDC says you can boil that water for a minute and it's okay. But I've just been using it for washing dishes, and hope to use it for my portable washing machine. Which then that's a whole question. It's cold now, so how, I don't know, maybe that stuff will dry on the line outside. I think I'll maybe go do that today. Maybe go get some gasoline for my generator and run that. But yeah, some off-grid living. And then we have how do we organize truthers, whatever you want to call all this alternative living deal. In New York, they have a meetup. I don't think they have one here. I could organize one. Here's some media that I was enjoying. I watched this documentary, Life. But I ever watched, HBO was awesome. You know what I mean? You first had movies at your house, and these movies like played twice a day. You watch the same thing. Oh, Beastmaster's on. It's awesome. Flash Gordon was a big impression in the world of popular filmmaking, because that's what George Lucas saw, and he wanted to make Flash Gordon literally, and he couldn't get the rights. Maybe he did his own Star Wars and all that kind of jazz. So it's and he's like a hero, not a superhero. That's much cooler, to be a real person that does something extraordinary. Sam Jones himself has a Marine background. And then this movie is like, it is pretty. I mean, things are just changing so much. It's really hard to say what audience you're talking about. Everything's like, do it on your handy cam and a lot more casual. So you probably would want to be fans of Flash Gordon to watch the movie. But if you're Christian, if you are wanting inspiration about, like, rehabilitation from drugs, or from, you had this idea of who you were. I mean, that certainly appealed to me, and obviously he speaks for a whole generation. That, hey, things are not turning out the way that we wanted them to. So how do we deal with that? But and then a lot of interesting stuff. I want to see if there's a documentary about Dino De Laurentiis, who did a lot of these movies. You know, you have like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and they're showing how these actors, after they had a career in America, were that was big when I was growing up that you don't really have now. Oh man, this was actually pretty cool. I feel bad. This came out in 2013. I didn't know about it or whatever, but I love Don Coscarelli's cult horror masterpiece Phantasm, and this is like got that same super creativity, and it's like that. You know, DMT kind of super intelligent from some drug type of thing. It's just really wild and inventive. The idea of it, and what's this guy Paul Giamatti is in it, and oh man, that was really cool. You know, I'm not a big horror movie fan or anything like that, but inventive stories I do like. And then I was just while I was working on the pouch the other day, I was got an urge to hear. I've seen the future. I can't afford it. Tell you the truth, son. Someone just bought it. ABC, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I remember as a kid. I moved out to Southern California, high desert, and had this cool cousin, Andy Jr., and he had the mini truck, and like I had this silly Depeche Mode or no Pet Shop Boys on the CD from Columbia House, and I traded him for his CD of ABC I never heard. And then like music at that time was super gay, just literally. I mean, but you know, I don't know if a lot of people have heard a lot of that music. I really like a lot of that music. It's good music. Yazoo, Don't Go, Men Without Hats. I showed that one to my son. I love that one as a kid. The look, that's the look. Oh, Blue Monday. That's too hard to do. It really cool. Like I hate the whole abstract art, and it just is like I there's a good and a bad side to everything. This is the good side where they're like super basic artistic. It inspires you to want to make a video. You know, they got the dog that poses on the different things and stacked up chairs. You got tennis balls held by invisible string that are moving around. You got flip books, marker videos drawn, just really cool stuff. Oh, and then the metal. I never heard of this Running Wild band, Riding the Storm. I was digging that. That's pretty much it for what we're doing today. Please share with me, what are you doing in your world, trying to connect with people on a real level to redirect us away from just absorbing this media and start creating as the solution, uh, and being yourself and dealing with the messiness of all that, living out loud. All right, love y'all. Check me out at Chad Warren 76 at Twitter, chadwarren.me. Please like, comment, and share. Thank you.